Why do some people challenge the established version of history? What is polygonal megalithic masonry and how is it different from ordinary brick and mortar or chiseled stones? It is a unique construction style found in various locations such as Italy, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Cambodia, Peru, and so on, withstanding disasters and earthquakes for thousands of years. Polygonal megalithic masonry appears similar to preformed cement mixes or plasticine molds at first glance. However, these structures are really composed of natural stones like granite, sandstone, limestone, andesite, and volcanic tuff. When rough and unfinished, they exhibit scoop marks but are usually perfect interlocking and smooth when refined. Some blocks even have knob-like protrusions on the lower part of their outward-facing sections. Despite its widespread presence and remarkable longevity, this particular construction technique can no longer be replicated today. How do you get slabs, or blocks, of gray andesite to look like this? Andesite is an iron-rich igneous rock, formed at similar pressures as granite, which matches the samples taken from the ancient Peruvian quarries. For those who say hammers and chisels did it all, this is what chiseled stones actually look like. Hammer and chisels alone cannot produce the visible nuances, deviations, and contortions that flow directly from one stone into adjoining blocks, which are not merely facades, as the blocks are tightly fitted throughout the entirety of the cross-section of the wall. The blocks and the walls are homogeneous, and are not a loose shuffling of sand and pebble, filled with cracks from uneven drying, which is what you typically get with brick and mortar, or bags of cement. Their walls were built as seamless fitted mortarless constructions, while all our walls, whether it's that of a tiny house or a massive nuclear power station, have to be held together with mortar between the bricks. We cannot reproduce seamless fitted mortarless construction. Unfortunately, cement crumble, and steel rust, which causes critical structural failure, way faster than natural stone like andesite and granite will ever degrade or fail. Subscribe to the Creation and the Universe channel for more. Many people comment all the time that much like the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Peruvians must have split and melted rocks using intense solar energy. Across these ancient sites there are amazingly spectacular stoneworks. Catch a glimpse of the most tightly fitted seams, with absolutely no mortar or cement used. They must have been heat-treating the stones in some way, even if not to melting point. They did something to make the stone look somewhat refined and unnatural, to create structures that still stand after thousands of years. Fundamentally, heating stones with such intense energy would spark two processes within the stone. One is spallation, where sparks and fragments fly off violently in all directions and the rock crack or splits. This can be due to the poor heat expansion coefficient of quartz, or be due to water trapped within microscopic fissures within the stone. The other process is where the stone can reach a lava-like state that can create scorch marks or black obsidian melt slag glass on the surface of the stone, formed from melted microscopic quartz crystals or silicon dioxide found within the stone. I am unable to say for sure what King Tut or the Inca chief did to get the stone to look the way they do, but for sure we know that rocks definitely can be split and shaped using solar energy. So, with the giant magnifying glass, King Tut approach, you've seen what sunlight focused down to a very precise point can do to rocks. Now, let us see what concentrated plasma, in the form of a superheated jet of oxygen, can do to a granite block. The marks seen on the unfinished obelisk are not scoops. The ancient Egyptians were not softening the bedrock and scooping material out. Instead, they were softening the bedrock, using heat from magnetic induction, to make the rock's surface brittle, and grinding it down. Their techniques for grinding very hard stones such as granite and basalt would be more familiar to us when it comes to techniques for working wood or marble. Therefore, Power tools such as planer, rotary grinder, drills, circular saws, lathe, etc. is what you should envision. They grinded away the material using something that was spinning or rotating very fast. They did not scoop rocks like ice cream, or in one motion moved a tool across the rock's surface like a cheese grater to remove material. They were able to maneuver the studded rotary wheel grinder, beneath and around the side of the unfinished obelisk, from all sides, leaving behind only a narrow rock spine. There have been a lot of stone drill cores found in Egypt, but no sign of the drills or the drill bits. Then there are the exposed slots where these cores came from, in ancient doorways and from other errant blocks you might just walk past. Plus, there is a lot of evidence on various blocks that large-scale circular saws were in use in the ancient world. So, it's clear that the ancient Egyptians recognized the importance of and knew exactly how to utilize and deploy rotary tools in their pursuit of the most precise and efficient stone-cutting techniques. So, dismissing the concept that it was some sort of large-scale rotating rotary grinder wheel that left the marks on the unfinished obelisk in the Aswan quarry is just a way to appease the belief of the people who hope granite can somehow be scooped just like ice cream, even with no such scooping tool being found or identified, which is just as bad as the people who truly believe that bronze and copper and a few thousand unskilled slaves can excavate a mountain of granite by just giving them enough time. Throughout the entirety of the 4-billion-year history of this planet, with our computers and artificial intelligence, are we the most advanced civilization to have ever lived on this planet? Or are we simply the civilization that has been most overly reliant on pesticides, plastics, rare earth metals, fossil fuels, electronics, nuclear power, combustion engines, computer softwares, and the digital realm of the internet space? And thus are we just merely the most delusional ones to have lived on the planet, given that we have active selective intentional amnesia about the many deluges from the sky that have taken out all the other advanced civilizations before us, and only accept and acknowledge the events responsible for the extinction of the dinosaurs and mammoths, ignoring the catastrophic events that wiped out entire continents of people, their history, and their technology.